Hello, people of the internet. I'm rotting my brain, and I got a Yamato replay. This is a replay that I actually filmed a week or two ago. This was back during a 0.6.10 during the anniversary event. So I've been just sitting on my hard drive, and I figured I might as well make a calm out of it just because it's a good game. Now, I have been playing World of Warships for over 2 years at this point. I actually joined in August of 2015, which was during the open beta, I believe. And ever since then, I have been playing on. Okay, I'm a bit inquisitive of this AFK Shimikaze. Thankfully, he'll come to life a bit later on in the game. But yeah, I've been playing for over 2 years at this point on a fairly consistent basis, albeit quite casually. So, because of that, after all this time, I have a grand total of one tier 10 ship. And you're looking at her, the Yamato. This thing is the only tier 10 battleship currently in the game that was actually constructed, commissioned, and saw combat in real life. Now, the action that she actually saw, she wasn't really that effective. But still, that's more than can be said about any of the other tier 10 battleships in the game. Montana was a pretty flushed out design, however, it of course never saw the light of day because of the US Navy's priority in building aircraft carriers. And Grosser Kurfürst and the Megazao, that is the Conqueror, they're more wargaming concoction than actual battleship design. Now, Yamato, on top of all that, has actually been in the game longer than any of these ships. So, by that theory, she should have suffered from the most power creep out of any of them. Now, is that necessarily true? I'm going to go with no. Yamato is still extremely dangerous. I mean, get a load of that. 50,000 damage, double Citadel on a Friedrich der Grosse as an opening salvo. Although Yamato's guns have never really been a weakness of hers by any stretch of the imagination. The problem is that it is actually remarkable that I got a double Citadel on a German battleship. Pretty much every other battleship at these higher tiers, apart from the Japanese ones, have Citadels that are at or below the waterline. Now, that effectively lets people in those other ships play a bit more dumb, should I say. They could be a lot more careless with their broadside and not fear just complete deletion. Whereas if a Yamato actually gives broadside to any of these ships, the sheer volume of fire that they can put out can of course just wipe you out of the game. But still, if you give broadside in a Yamato, you're doing it wrong. Honestly, you deserve to die if you do that. This thing with these 460s should just be bow on to everything whenever possible. If you get deleted from a battleship from broadside, that's your fault, not the ship's. Although, all that being said, this game is still far from a textbook example of how a Yamato should be properly played. In my battleships, I tend to be pretty hyper-aggressive. I do a lot of pushing, and although it can be effective at the time, I often will not actually survive. This game, though, my aggression actually happens to work out, though my team at the moment is kind of in a bit of a problematic situation. Apart from a single DE that's between the B and C capture points that is actually going to get dispatched pretty shortly here, every single ship on my team is at the A point, and of course the enemy team hold the other two caps. Now, losses at this point anyway are 2 and 2, though the difference is that my team has only lost cruisers, at least right now. The enemy team has lost 2 destroyers. Now, destroyers, particularly in these high-tier domination games, are so important for actually making pushes on the caps. So, when my team actually gets around to pushing through the B cap and eventually onto C, having this destroyer advantage is going to be vital in order, for success in actually, capturing these points. I'm just sailing around in this, big huge thing, drawing fire to myself and just away from the ships that actually need to survive. And this poor Friedrich, this guy's just been my punching bag all game. I've farmed 80,000 damage on him already. Although, I might have shot at some other targets, I don't know. But most of that was on him, and yeah, he's not having a good game, and I honestly empathize, but, what are you going to do? Right here, though, is actually when I'm going to start pushing into the middle of the map along with my destroyers. I'm going to pop a shot off at the Montana in the meantime, just because, he's the only guy I can shoot at, and he's broadside on, so who knows, maybe I'll get lucky. Although, I actually kind of wished I saved that salvo for this gearing that just randomly popped up, though I did get a Citadel, so it's not all bad. Now, pushing up this far forward and, making myself kind of an easy target is actually going to play to the advantage of my team, just because this gearing is going to be almost certainly going to be wasting torpedoes on me, and I killed him with an armor-piercing penetration. Now, it's just a matter of avoiding his torpedoes. Now, the armor-piercing penetrations on DDs, the whole hoopla around it, that honestly kind of seems to pop up overnight. Now, obviously, the issue itself is not new, but, like, when Flamu or Knots or whoever the hell it was actually, made a video revolving around the armor-piercing penetrations that occasionally happen on DDs that can basically just wipe them out of the game. It was just everywhere, just overnight. It was very, very bizarre, and I started just seeing it all over the place now that I was actually paying attention to it. And what the hell is this Shimakaze doing? This guy is he's spotted just sitting still in open water, and I get another penetration, another normal pen on him, and drop 5k, but I think it's the Fletcher that got the kill. And but what was this guy doing? He was sitting still in open water, and he'd only fired one torpedo salvo at me. So, did he go AFK or something? I don't know. And by the way, I had no idea where those torpedoes came from. I actually thought that it might have been like the Mogami, for example, over there, because that's the only thing over there that I saw with quad torpedoes. As it turns out, there's actually an unspotted Yugamo in that direction. But thankfully, at least, he would not actually be bothering me too much for the rest of the game. Though, now the Cyclone is rolling in, and, well, I have my eyes on, of course, that Friedrich again and these hippers that are down south of the B cap. I'm hydro-spotted at the moment, although I really should not be those guys' primary target. I mean, sure, I'm a big scary battleship, but there are 3 destroyers also closing in along with me, the Yugamo down to the south, and a Fletcher and a Shimakaze up in the cap with me, that will be able to get around the corner and get shots off before I will, although my catapult fighter will at least reestablish visual contact with the Friedrich. And, well, again, that poor Friedrich, I've been bullying him the entire game, and, well, he's now about to become a victim of torpedo soup, really. And if you look at the team lists right now, we're 7 ships to 6, but the enemy team only has 1 remaining destroyer, that Yugamo that's actually off to the north of the B cap. Whereas my team has 4, although that Friedrich actually did manage to badly damage our Fletcher during his attack run. And that was a pretty nice salvo, 17,000 damage, pretty much all just armor-piercing pen damage, and sadly that wasn't enough for the kill. The Yugamo ended up getting him, but I now have this very, very unfortunate Admiral Hipper all to myself. And honestly, I don't know why this guy doesn't actually try to torpedo me. I'm closing on him, so even just his 6-kilometer torp should actually be enough to pose a threat to me. But, he doesn't torp me and just decides to shoot armor piercing at me. And that was actually a surprisingly successful salvo, 7,000 damage. But he's not long for this world. And, with nobody else actually capable of shooting him, this should be my second kill. Yeah, there we go. And as quick as that, it is now 5v3. We lost 2 of our destroyers, however, their last destroyer is now dead. I, however, am kind of in an awkward position. My friendly Shimakaze up there is going to grab the C point, although every surviving enemy ship now is off to the north, far away from me, and is looking, obviously, to grab the A point out from under us. And because of the cyclone, I have no hope of really spotting or firing upon these targets, for myself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn north and head back into the B cap. Friendly Iowa is already in there. He says he's going to go to A to try and head off the enemy push. I'm going to see if I can get over there. However, the Yamato is, one other thing that's kind of, power creepy about the other tier 10s. All of them are faster than the Yamato. Yamato's only 27 knots. And, well, I'm now seeing this Iowa up here. I also kind of have a stroke with the chat box. I want to say I'm going to come over to A with you, but I only just type in the letter A. So, yeah, I don't know how intelligible that was. Although I'm going to tell the Iowa that I'm going to be coming over to help. Though, this guy is found himself in the rather unenviable position of being triple teamed by these 3 surviving enemy ships. It's a Montana, a Mogami, and a San Luis. The San Luis is the one that's currently in A capturing it, whereas the other 2 are just off to the north. Now, I'm hoping to engage those guys, but the problem is they're sailing away from me, and so is the Iowa. And the Cyclone doesn't show any signs of letting up. So I'm playing catch up, and well, it looks like this Iowa is going to go down before I get to him. So I might be in a little bit of trouble here. So yeah, I quickly just abort mission and decide, you know what, I'm gonna go and find myself a nice island to hide near and get bow on and just see what I can do against these guys. So I'm turning back and suddenly spot the Mogami. Now, I still actually think that this Mogami is the guy that actually torpedoed me earlier. I had completely forgotten about that Yugumo. So I'm thinking, okay, I don't want this guy torpedoing me again. So I'm gonna turn back toward the C point and just kite away from him and try and get around the other side of that island. And while I'm kiting, I should be able to to do some damage to him. Although the RNG on my rear turret decides to all of a sudden go stupid on me. Like, did you see that dispersion? All 3 shells fell short. How does that happen? 4-2 turrets are on point though. A nice 7,000 damage salvo, though still not what I want. I want the citadels. Okay, rear turret. Gonna try again with this. Alright, shot out. Again, nada. What the hell is up with my rear turret? Yeah, though thankfully the rear turret is pretty non-essential for ideal Yamato gameplay. So he turns broadside on because, well, he probably thinks he's going to be safe behind the island, and, well, there he goes. That enemy Montana, however, was probably trying to catch up to his friendly Mogami in the same way that I was trying to catch up to the Iowa earlier, and just, try to engage in the fight. Although, I'm now doubling back. I want my 200,000 damage, and we're at 943 points, so I'm thinking that we're going to cap out pretty soon, so I want to do as much damage to this guy as I possibly can before we end up winning the game. And, of course, he gets the first salvo off first when he finally appears, because Yamato's turrets are slow as hell. Though, What I didn't count on is that San Luis on the other end of the map going on a damn tear. Though Montana's first salvo really doesn't do much. Mine, on the other hand, yeah, 20,000 damage. That's real good. Now, right now I'm in pretty much the Yamato superposition. This guy can do nothing to me with his armor piercing. See? Bounce. Bounce. See, he can't do anything. And, well, I'm probably not going to get a Citadel now, although, yeah, another 20,000 in just penetration damage, and actually I knock out a turret as well. So his turrets are now desynced. He's going to have 3 guns firing at me pretty soon, and the last one is going to come later. I'm going to try and go for the kill on this salvo, though I aim a bit too low, and yeah, only 11,000. I didn't get the 20k that I need, and his return actually somehow knocks out one of my gun turrets. I was freaking out at the moment after this happened, although in hindsight I really needed not fret about it because my number 1 turret was actually going to beat his reload. And yep, there we are. That shot for the game win, and his 1 reply actually goes into my 1 turret that was already destroyed. And yeah, well, that's the game. 264,000 damage on 4 kills. Had I killed that Shimakaze or that Friedrich, I would have gotten the Kraken. Although, honestly, if that Montana had actually decided to ram me instead of try and fight me conventionally, we would have been stuck playing Ring Around the Rosie with just my friendly Shimakaze and that enemy San Luis, and, you know, who knows how that would have turned out. Though, thankfully, pulled out the win, and, well, I believe that's actually my brand new record for all-time damage, at least in the Yamato. So, yeah, thank you very much for watching. I'm Rotting My Brain, and that's the video.